Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 294. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is a good friend of mine, SarahJoy Mount. And I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Keith. I'm really happy that we've both been able to have the time to do this. We've kind of been playing tag for a while, and I'm very impressed by your persistence, and I want to thank you for that.
Nah, same here. I'm glad you didn't change your mind.
Nope, I'm good.
Now, for people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. But you should never give up, and you should prove to them you can stem out to something. Labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, and you should show them you can stem out to something. So that being said, half hour, 40 minutes every time. It can go longer if you want. Hope you're very talkative. And by the way, you have beautiful eyes.
Thank you.
Are they hazel or are they green?
They go between blue and gray. They're a little bit more gray right now.
Because I saw it well on green, that's why I said it.
Yeah.
I'm a bad fart. So basically, it does a normal conversation. You're supporting a good cause, and that's a nice truck you're in.
Thanks. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Just heading up to an audition. Like I said, so I live in the Dallas, Texas area, and actually just did an audition right now. I'm heading up to go film a feature film that I'm working on up in Oklahoma.
Oh, nice. If you're ever in New York, we should definitely hang out.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I've never been to New York.
Well, put it on our bucket list. So we can definitely hang out, get you lunch or something, make a day of it.
That'd be fun. You could probably show me stuff that the locals only know about.
That's true, and you can spend a day at Woodbury Commons. I know you would love it.
Cool.
So basically, normal conversations, freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression. That's the whole point of my show, uncensored. And starting off, what can you tell us about yourself? And when you were growing up, how was life?
Oh, how was life in what way? What do you mean?
Completely ever way you want to interpret it. Whatever you want to tell us.
Okay. I've lived a lot of life for, I think, my age. I'm 37. I was born and raised in Southern California and been in Texas for 4 years now, but will always consider SoCal my home. And I was a career horse trainer. I did that for basically my entire life until I had an injury that meant that I still do it part-time, not because I should be, but because I love it too much to completely stop it. But health and safety-wise, I don't do it full-time anymore, which is actually when I got into acting, was a year after that accident. And and I have a lot of tattoos. I know probably a lot of people do. Mine have actually helped me in my life, if that probably makes no sense, but it's helped my self-confidence, actually, I would say, and in accepting who I am as a person. I was raised in a middle class, family, lived in a nice house. My parents divorced when I was 4, And my mom remarried, when I was young. And my dad was always a part of my life, still is. But I, lived with my mom and my stepdad. And, was always interested in horses. My life had always revolved around that. And so I was busy doing that. Pretty much I got my first horse when I was 9, and ended up homeschooling through most of high school because I was riding and competing full time. And, just basically immediately went right into doing that for my job. I got married the first time when I was 22, but that kind of goes into my adult life. And another thing I would say that I don't want to say defines me, but it just is who I am. I'm a recovering addict. I have 11 and a half years clean. I've been clean since March 27th, 2005. But that's something that's a lifelong thing. It's a constant in my life. And so, I will never not be an addict. I'm just really grateful that I'm clean and all of that good stuff. So that's what I've got for now. What else you got for me, Keith?
Well, when you were in college, were you studying or a party animal? And I asked you the easy ones first. Were you studying or a party animal, and did you ever do any sports?
Well, the sports is easy. I played soccer when I was a kid, but basically the sports have always been the horses. I consider myself a professional athlete because, I've ridden for 28 years. And I did not go to college. I have, pretty much extensive education and training from working for top professionals in the horse industry. And I don't know. When I was during the typical times, I think that people would be partying, I did not. And then when I started was when, I got myself into trouble, doing drugs and stuff. So I've kind of been both ways.
Did you ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids, or not into the whole human pyramid thing?
What do you mean?
Like, have you ever done one?
No, I haven't.
Would you be interested in doing one?
A human pyramid?
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe, I guess.
I love that stuff. I'm a loser.
No, that's not loser. That's cool. It's out of the ordinary. That's fun.
I'm trying to set a couple of records for YouTube, so I'm trying to get a bunch of girls together to do a whole bunch of different pyramids. Basically, it's just my way of extending my hand to you guys in friendship, and it's just basically a giant hangout.
Okay.
So if you're interested, I would love to have you a part of it.
That would be fun. That would be amazing. I guess keep me in the loop. That sounds like something I've never done before, so that's always fun.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it.
Absolutely.
I do have a couple of questions for you off the air, but now the next question I was going to ask you is, what was the very first professional show you went to, number one, as a fan, and what was the very first professional show that you worked at, and what was it like?
Well, the first concert that I ever went to was Garth Brooks. I don't really I guess I would probably say that, and that I worked for.
Like, for example, like what that got you interested and hooked on being a professional horse rider?
It was really the only thing I ever had an interest in, and I just wanted it so bad, and so I just worked hard. I just kept doing it. So I don't know. I'd have to. I'm not really sure what professional. That's an interesting question. I can't think of specifically.
All right, and now next question I was going to ask you is, yeah, I know you hinted towards this, but I'm going to ask you again. How many years have you been performing? And during that time, what were some of your favorite arenas, crowds, and those events you've been at? I know you said 28, but during the 28 years, what were some of the special events and crowds?
Oh wow. I have a couple favorite like shows or competitions that stick out in my mind. The first one was at the Orange County Fairgrounds in Southern California in 1994. It was I actually used to have a sponsor on a Western pleasure horse that I used to show, and it was on that horse. The fair was going, and we were basically just unbeatable. It was just a really cool, fun experience. And then probably next I would say Indio, California, like out near Palm Desert, Palm Springs. There's a big horse show. It's like the biggest horse show on the West Coast in winter, spring time. And gosh, that was in 2001, I think. And it was just the level that I was competing at. It's still to this day, it's the biggest jumps that I've ever competed over, and I just don't think that I'll ever forget it. And then the third one that comes to mind was actually in Oklahoma at the fairgrounds in Oklahoma City in 2014, I think. I really felt like I hit some real, it hit a different level of, my own writing. And it was just a really phenomenal week. And what was the other question?
You answered both of them.
Oh, okay.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, do you perform with the same horses? And for people who want to break into this line of work, what wisdom would you give them? And how do you bond with the horses so they just don't decide to throw you off?
Well, wisdom that I could tell somebody who would want to get into it, especially as a profession, is you just do it. You just do it. You just show up every day. It takes, because it's something that so many people would give anything to be in, and the light, sorry, the light is moving, the sun is moving.
Don't worry about it.
Because it's something that people would give anything to do, basically you have to be willing during the learning process to, to do it either for free or for virtually, nothing. Or to be able to work extremely hard, to earn that knowledge and the education that you need. And it takes hard work. It's a lot of hard work, long hours. It just, it takes a lot of perseverance. To the connection with the horses, that's a very, I think, multi-tiered question, I guess I would say. A lot goes into that. I understand horses extremely well. I understand how they think, and that's very important. And I don't know that everybody is able to do that. But you just have to understand what their instinct is and why they do what they do, so that you understand that it's, that it's not something to be scared of, or not something, to be anything other than just alert. And, you have to be able to mold yourself to what the horse needs. And you have to be very, very versatile in that way.
I hear it. Now, I was just noticing the stuff that you have in the back. Do you travel, just constantly travel, or do you stay at hotels?
I travel a lot. Yeah, I have, actually, that back there is actually one of my dog beds. Usually I have my dogs along with me for the ride. They are my constant companions usually. It's kind of lonely without them here. But yeah, I don't travel for competitions like I used to. I used to travel a lot. And that did involve, staying in hotels and stuff. These days, because I don't ride full time, because of that, I don't work for somebody. And so basically all the horses that I do ride are my own clientele. And so, like, if I worked for somebody, pretty much all the horses that I would work with would be at, a facility, and that's where I would go. But because basically I work itinerant, so I go where the horses are. So I drive a lot.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was playing with the idea of, you want to hear now, or we can talk about it off the show? It's kind of like a business idea.
What do you mean? What you got?
I was playing with the idea of touring, because I want to get myself out there. Would you be interested in working something out, or do you think what I'm doing doesn't really influence or interact with what you're doing?
I think what you're doing is fantastic. I fully support what you're doing. I think that it's great. When it comes to touring, I guess it would depend on what that means. I'm not independently wealthy, so so that's always a thing. But I would certainly want to keep up with what you were doing, and if there was a way that I could help or whatever, be good to at least talk about it, I guess.
Well, I get an idea. I was thinking, it's like when you do perform at a couple of shows, like I could travel with you on the road. I could be your roadie, and I can talk to the people before the show and maybe after the show. Do you think that's a possibility, or do you think people who go to horse shows only want to go see the horses?
Probably they only go for the horses. It probably wouldn't be the best venue.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't be the best venue. It would almost be better, like to go to movie premieres. I would actually think that would be a better place for you to, travel to and for.
Well, would you be interested in working together on that, or to just...
Sure. Sure.
See how it goes.
Yeah, sure.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you, I'm going to pass the show over to you now. Was there anything you wanted to promote? Anything you want to talk about? This is your time, after all.
That's a very it's a very interesting. I really love your show and what you're doing. I guess I would say, promoting wise, I have a couple films that are going to be touring different film festivals. Right now, I just have a couple, one short film. It's called From a Scream to a Giggle. And so it's a short film. It's a 10-minute film. So, if you are a film fan and, want to look that up and, find out where that goes, you can contact me. You can find me on any social media under the handle The Real Sarah Joy. Every single social media, that's my brand, basically, is The Real Sarah Joy, and it's all one word. And my name, Sarah Joy, does have an H. And so you can find me, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, IMDb, all that type of stuff. You can find From a Scream to a Giggle on IMDb. And then actually the film that I'm heading up to go work on now is called Lord Finn, Finn. And that one's going to be a feature-length film, and I am a lead in the film, and it's going to be touring festivals probably in 2017, I would imagine, since we're filming it right now, so it still has to, finish filming and go through post-production and all that type of stuff. So that one... This one that I'm working on right now is going to be, I'm really hoping it's going to turn out to be really amazing. I've had a lot of fun. It's actually been my biggest role to date. And, I'm very, very excited about it. Otherwise, I guess probably something that's important to me is
me.
Nice. Nice. Always love the confidence, Keith.
Right. I just had to throw it in there.
I love it. And your cat asleep on the bed.
Oh, Mr. Cassie.
Yep. He's cashed out. He looks super comfortable.
Well, the next question I was going to ask you is, while wrapping up our interview segment, do you have any funny stories from the road you would like to share? Or funny pranks you pulled on people?
Gosh, I can't... I don't really have... No, I haven't. I guess I haven't, really done any stuff like that. And you know, of course, that like the best story is going to come to me like 10 minutes after, you know, we completely finish and wrap this interview. But I can't think of anything right now. Just nothing comes to mind.
Well, I have a couple for you.
Okay. All right. Shoot.
When my dad was younger, he was living in an apartment. And basically, when he was growing up, my grandmother always got the meat. It was the steaks, it was the veiny, greasy type of meat. So my dad would always take the window seat. So as my grandma was giving him the meat, he would just chuck it out the window. And they were on like I think the sixth floor. There were six floors up. So at a certain time on a certain day, it would start raining meat.
Oh my god.
So one day, the super was like, "Where's this meat coming from?" So while he was out walking around, he got hit in the face with a steak.
Oh!
So he went back, he figured out where the room was and everything. And he's like, why were you throwing meat out? And my grandmother says, not in this house, we eat all our meat. The other funny story was, I can't remember the holiday, but it's a Jewish holiday where you leave an open chair for the Holy Spirit or something. We're Jewish, so I don't really know the holiday. So whatever the reason was, my grandparents had the door open. And so this guy walked in. Now, this could have easily went wrong. We got off lucky, they got off lucky, or I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah.
This guy walked in. It was a homeless guy. Basically, he smelled the food, came in, and he had dinner with us, and then he got up and left, and we were like, was that the Holy Spirit, or who the hell was that?
Wow. Wow.
Well,
that's a cool story. I like that one. Wow, that's a cool story.
Like, when I try to make jokes, it isn't funny. But when I'm sarcastic or in a moment, it's funny. I'll give you a perfect example. We went to an Italian place. And now I know it says moose. But at the time, I thought it said mouse. It said M-O-O-S. Wait, M-O-O-U-S-E. And I was like, okay, weird way to say mouse. So when it's like, yes, can we get dessert? Yes, can I get the chocolate mouse cake? And it's like, what? Yeah, a mouse. It's moose. I know it's stupid funny, but you would like this one. There's this restaurant called Aware of Gina, and they had 2 soups, French onion, and lobster bisque, or whatever. So I wasn't paying attention. It's like, yes, can I get the spaghetti and meatballs, and for the soup, can I get the lobster bitch?
Ow!
So everyone says it's like, yeah, it makes fun of me for that. You know, that's things like that I do, it's funny, but when I try to be funny, it's not really. I remember I rung this guy up in Target, and I said, wouldn't it be funny to pay someone in all ones? So I purposely used all the 20s and all the 10s and 5s. So the singles was a 40. I'm like, okay, here's a 20, 21, 22, 23. And I'm like, is there a way you can give me change? 25, 26, 27. And he got basically a ballistic, and he said, go over there, they probably give you change. I should have said, go next door and he can give you change. And he went over, he was so pissed. He said, you believe that cashier over there? He gave me $30 in change or whatever. And he's like, hey, if you can't do that. But it was funny. And just like stupid things like that, but I do, but it was funny. It's, I don't know, I now save my day job. Just do what I'm doing. Now don't be a comedian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not everybody's good at it.
That's true. Now, wrapping up our interview, I have
Okay,
a couple questions for you off the air.
okay.
Now, I took this one from the Factor. Going on the record as the spin stops here. Yes, I'm a fan of Bill Raleigh. So, going on the record, when I first approached you, what was your honest opinion? And after being a guest on my talk show, how do you feel now?
Uh, when you first approached me, I thought it was great. I, right off the bat, just, was, totally on board and, wanted to be able to participate in it. Um, I think that the reason and, everything that you're doing is excellent. I think that it needs to happen. And after being on it, I basically feel the same way.
No, I appreciate it. I wish I had more funny stories, but I always use my brother's stories. I use my parents' stories. Nothing really exciting that really happens to me, so it's stuff I have to make my own excitement. But it is what it is, right?
That's okay. It's okay.
Now wrapping up. Stay tuned for after the show. But and in our interview, it was a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to building a friendship with you as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on your show, Keith.